Plant your hands and step back into a downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. Notice how your dog feels now compared to the first one in class. And then let's inhale, ripple forward into a high plank. And then exhale, we're going to shift our right hip over, so you come to the right side of the outside of your right foot into a side plank. So option here is to stay in side plank, or if you'd like to, you can bring that bottom knee to the ground again and come into modified side plank. Wherever you are, really try to lift your left hip up towards the sky. And if you're feeling a little bit more fiery tonight, maybe, just maybe, this top foot, you grab onto your big toe and lift it up towards the sky. Maybe. Take one more breath. Exhale, release your mind. Bring yourself back into high plank. Knees to the ground and child's pose. Walk your elbows forward and bring your hands in prayer behind your head for a few breaths. Let that go. Good. When you're ready, let's bring ourselves back up. Guess what? We have another side to do. Tuck your toes, lift yourself into high plank, and we're going to roll onto our left side this time. So again, option to stay up here on your feet, or you can lower that bottom knee like we did at the beginning of class into your modified side plank. Or if you're feeling really fiery, maybe this top foot lifts up. You can grab your big toe and lift it up towards the sky. Nice deep breaths. Lift your right hip up to the sky a little bit higher. Take one more breath. Release your bind if you have it. And then exhale, come back into your high plank and lower down onto your belly. We're going to bring our arms out in a cactus. You can bring one of your cheeks to the ground. And we're going to actually turn your left cheek to the ground. And you're going to lift your right knee up. Like you're giving the floor, the earth, a giant hug. And just sink down here, relax. Good. From here, you can stay here if this feels good for you. Or we can open up into a nice chest stretch. It can be quite intense. So you can keep your arm cactused here. So you can stay like this, or you can stretch it out on the ground. I don't have a ton of room where I am, so I'm going to keep it cactused. And we're going to start to bring this bent leg and lift it behind you. All right, so you're really opening up through your left shoulder. It can be quite intense. Find a spot that feels like a nice tension, but no sharp or electrical pain. There's a lot of nerves that run through your shoulder. You can also just bring both knees up, stacked to the side here. Pushing into the ground with your other hand to help open up a little bit. Nice deep breaths into your shoulder. And feel free to play around with where your shoulder is, if your elbow's bent or straight, your arm a little bit higher or lower. Really find a nice sweet spot where you get into that juicy stretch. Take one more breath. And then we're going to bring our legs back long and we're going to roll onto our bellies. Turn your right cheek to the mat this time and lift your left knee up to give the earth a big hug. And just relax here. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, option to keep your elbow cactused, or you can straighten it out. And start to use your left hand to push into the mat to help you rotate up. And slowly bring that bent knee up and over behind your other leg till you feel a nice stretch in your right shoulder, your right chest. Or simply bend your knees and stack them one on top of each other. Do what feels right for you. Take 2 more breaths. And when you're ready, slowly rolling back onto your belly. And slowly pushing back into a child's pose for 3 breaths. Good. And when you're ready, we're going to come into a downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high to the sky. Bend your knee and open up through your hips. Feeling equal weight in both your hands. See if you can lift your knee a little higher. Then inhale, straighten your legs, square your hips. And exhale, we're going to bring our knee to our right wrist and lower our shin down, coming into our pigeon pose here. So you want to keep your hips square down towards the ground. And depending on how open you are in your hips, you can either keep your foot pointed and your knee bent, or flex at your ankle and bring your shin parallel to the top of your mat if you're a little bit more open. Whatever feels good for you and your knee. Be very mindful. Remember, it doesn't matter what you look like, it matters how it feels. Lifting your heart, and then start to bring your heart forward and down. If you have a pillow or a prop, you might want to use this to go underneath your forehead. Keeps your neck in alignment. Or if you don't have that, you can make 2 fists, stack them on one on top of each other, and then use that as a pillow for your forehead. Start to sink down, breathe into your hip. We're going to be here for about a minute, so get comfy. Notice the quality of your breath while you're here. Can you lengthen your inhales and your exhales? And then when you're ready, we can slowly start to walk ourselves back up. Tuck your back toes, engage your leg, and step back into your down dog, shaking your hip out however you need to. Let that go. And then inhale, left leg comes high to the sky. Bend at your knee and open up through your hips. Notice that you're not dumping any weight into your wrists, so really press all your fingers into the mat. And see if you can lift your knee a little higher. Good. Inhale, straighten your legs, square your hips. And exhale, bring your knee to your left wrist this time, letting your shin come down and come back into your pigeon. So each side's going to feel different. Choose again to have your foot tucked in, toes pointed, or you can flex your foot and bring your shin parallel to the top of your mat, as long as you can keep your hips square to the mat. Start to lift up through your chest, and then start to come forward and down, finding that pillow with either a prop or your two fists stacked all on top on each other. Relax your head and breathe into your hip. Again, we'll be here for about a minute. So see just how relaxed you can get in this shape. Use your breath to get into any tight spots and let them go. Good, and when you're ready, slowly start to walk yourself up. And we're going to just come into a seated position here. So we're going to do something we haven't really done before. It's going to be a frog. This is quite intense for your groin muscles, your thighs. So be gentle with yourself. Okay, so you're going to bring your knees wide and then flex your feet so that you're kind of like in a froggy shape here, so that your ankles are in line with your knees and then your feet are flexed. And you're going to start to walk your hands forward and bring your elbows to the ground. And this could be where you stay, or maybe you start to let your knees relax out a little bit further, and maybe your forehead comes down to the mat as well. And we'll be here for about a minute. Really breathing into those hips. And and use your breath. a tool to help you stay relaxed in the shape. When things get a little intense, something you can always come back to, something you always have in your toolbox. Take 2 more breaths here. And then if you're ready to come out, I like to kind of swim myself forward. And then bring yourself back. And we're gonna come seated. And just let your hips windshield wiper side to side. Let that go. And come on to your back. We're going to do 1 bridge tonight. So if you're feeling quite done already and you have a proper pillow nearby, what you can do is actually do a supported bridge. So when you lift your hips up, you can just put your block underneath your sacrum, right above your tailbone. And let this be a more passive, supported shape. Or you can simply lift your hips up and really shine your heart up towards the sky in your bridge. Taking about 5 breaths here. Relaxing your jaw. And when you're ready to come down and slowly lower your hips down or remove any props you might have. Walk your feet wide as your mat, and let your knees come together. Place 1 hand on your belly and 1 on your heart. And simply breathe into both your hands. Feel them rise and fall with each breath. Bring your awareness back to your internal self. How do you feel in your body right now? Allowing the universe to gift you with the light and love that it has to offer. And when you're ready, you can walk your feet in and give yourself a big hug. Maybe a little rock side to side. Maybe make little circles with your sacrum on the ground. And if you have any shape that's calling to you right now that you need, feel free to do that. Or my option for you is just to do a nice supine twist. So letting your knees drop to one side and look in the opposite direction. Keeping both shoulders on the floor. Starting to melt down. And slowly, carefully bring yourself through center and then over to the other side. What can you relax here? And we're going to prepare for our final rest, our Shavasana. Watching for any furry friends in the room there. Thanks, Shy. And stretch your legs out long, take up space. Closing your eyes, relaxing your jaw. Let your shoulders get heavy. Feel softness in the palms of your hands. Let your hips release, your thighs, your knees. Bringing awareness back to your breath. Start to return to your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rock your head side to side. Maybe reach your arms overhead for a big full body stretch. And then hugging both knees into your chest one at a time. And rocking onto your left or your right side for a moment before coming up to seated. Bring your hands to your beautiful heart. And we have so much to be grateful for each other, for this time for ourselves, for the trees and the rain and the wind that's coming. What are you grateful for? Thanks for coming tonight. So great seeing you. Hope you bring the peace and everything that you've cultivated tonight to the rest of your week. Hopefully I'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Allie.